viewers, welcome to this week's edition of your popular program Broadview, reaching you live from Heritage Television in London. Basically, we are still in the mood of our second year anniversary. We sincerely appreciate you viewers and all our team, fans, friends, and well-wishers. Just like yesterday, we began, and before we are on the second anniversary. We sincerely appreciate all your effort. The days are actually, we can't just count it, just like yesterday, as I said earlier on. So on this week's edition is basically the concluding part of the series of our interview that we began last week. My guests remain Honorable Oladeji Obanleowo. So we will intensify our effort to critically analyze things and what is actually on the political landscape of Nigeria. Honorable Obanleowo, once again, you're welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. So let's go straight to the main business. We were on the point of looking at the issue of APC in Ogun State. The governor-elect, Dapo Abiodun, of the APC, there was a strong belief in some quarters that it was the effort of the PDP members that actually led to his emergence as being elected as a governor of Ogun State. And also, Otumagbenga Daniel was also commended for his own effort to ensure that he emerged victorious. But now, Otumagbenga Daniel actually has resigned from the PDP. And many people had actually been saying that they were being surprised how he's now a member of APC. So, I want your view on this issue, Honorable Obanleowo, before we move to further questions.
Thank you, moderator. What I can just say regarding that is this. Whichever way we look at it, I think APC in Ogun State, they had a candidate that they believed in, Dapo Abiodun. And he had enormous support from the leaders of that party. That I can tell you very well. With the contributions that you mentioned earlier, probably that the impact my party PDP also held on the election itself. I think I laid emphasis on that last week, that because of the fact that we had two factions, it didn't actually help matters. Even though the candidates we presented, Adebutu Ladi, who belonged to one faction, and Buruji Kashane, they all come from, all these people are Ijebu men. So it is only normal that probably after looking at the way events were unfolding, they felt, okay, Dapo Abiodun probably, according to opinion poll, probably he has the edge. He fought a good campaign, and his party actually wanted him to be their candidate, and that's what happened after they had their primaries. Dapo Abiodun emerged as their candidate. So the election actually proceeded, and we all saw what happened after the elections. He had the highest number of votes. Whether the indifferences, that I identified last week between my party contributed to them, winning, emphatically, the only person that can answer that question is they themselves. But we knew that there were rancors within the camp, and unfortunately, you cannot have a divided house and expect your followership to embrace, the sort of ideologies that you believe in. So Dapo Abiodun had the edge. People came out en masse, even though he had a he had another candidate from another political party, which was, created by the incumbent governor, just to give him a good run for his money. But there can only be one winner. And after the elections were conducted, results were announced, and Dapo Abiodun emerged as the winner. But having said that, whether Otumba Gbenga Daniel leaving PDP and coming out to show his solidarity and support for Dapo Abiodun actually had an impact, I wouldn't know. Only God knows what went on behind the scenes, because he did not actually come out to say initially that he was actually supporting him. This was towards the end of the elections that he actually said, Dapo Abiodun was his own candidate, and I don't know whether there was some sort of closeness between them before, or he just actually wanted continuity in the state, because Otumba Gbenga Daniel, being a former governor himself, obviously wanted development to continue in Ogun State. So that needs to be seen. But he's now left our party. He's no more a member of PDP. He's now with APC. So all I can just say is, whatever plans this man has in place for Ogun State to continue with the work that Ibikunle Amosun is actually doing now, I can only pray and hope that over the next 4 years, the good people of Ogun State will be able to begin to see the continuity of this administration, over the next 4 years.
Thank you very much indeed. Basically, let us quickly look at it from this angle. You are from Ogun State,
yes,
and the state is actually like there are this popular adage within Nigeria that where two elephants are fighting, definitely the grass is going to be of the truth. Now, the incumbent governor, that is Ibikunle Amosun, is being elected and as a senator, and now it has actually been, it's widely open that it's been open that he was actually against the candidacy of Dapo Abiodun. Do you think, let's assume that proper handover or perhaps handing over, do you think that there can be some kind of any structure for the elected governor to stand on due to Nigerian factors?
Are we talking in terms of continuity?
Continuity. And do you think there should be, there's going to be any continuity, or perhaps it's going to hand over to him properly for him to know precisely where his admission has stopped?
Thank you. I think that's a very, very, very good question. In the interest of peace, continuity, I think it's high time that we move on as citizens of Ogun State and citizens of Nigeria. No matter what have transpired between His Excellency Ibikunle Amosun and the governor-elect, they still belong to the same political party anyway. So I believe that continuity should be the watchword of Dapo Abiodun coming into office on the 29th of May, 2019. There's no two ways about it. He's not somebody that I know personally, but from what I've seen, he has conducted his affairs in a very dignified manner, even though most of the things that went on during the elections, a lot of people were actually thinking, why is this man so antagonistic towards this man's political ambition? Why has he all of a sudden, formed another party? Because he's hell-bent on getting his own candidate to succeed him at all cost. That didn't work out, but he is going to the Senate. Whether right now, from all indications, I don't know whether that suspicion has actually been lifted due to past antecedents and what happened during the campaign, during the campaign and everything. I think the party took a different view, and they weren't happy with the antecedents and most of the things that happened him still being a member of the APC, forming another political party, APM, allowing his legion of followers to contest elections under that platform while he remained at APC. And that is what I call anti-party activities. And maybe it's an abuse of position, abuse of power, or he just felt that, there was nobody who could question his authority. Only Ibrahim Dawodu could answer those questions himself. But I just think that Ogun State is bigger than anybody. It's bigger than any individual. That Dawodu will be sworn in on the 29th of May. So, and I think, knowing the kind of person this man has been described to be, he would want to continue with all the programs which APC has embarked on in this state, and allow the progress is about to start on the 29th, allow the good work is about to start to speak for itself over the next 4 years. So whether he can prove himself and showcase his talent and as a politician and a successful businessman, 2 in 1, is for every one of us to see. We will be, as political analysts, we will be looking closely at Ogun State, because that's where I'm from. I'm from Abeokuta, and that's a place that I'm very passionate about. I really want the state to do well. I want Abeokuta to progress. I want every territory within Ogun State to develop. So I know that Dawodu will use his entrepreneurship skills as a successful businessman to look at the policies they have in place and make sure that there's continuity in that state, and continue with the work that Ibrahim Dawodu is going to be leaving behind in a few weeks' time.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly look at this question before we move to other subjects. Now, both the governor, which is now the Senate elect, and the governor, and the governor-elect, both of them, the governor is going to the federal level now. That's the upper house, while the governor is coming to the state. There's no any way both of them are not going to work together, because basically it's for they are going to work. There's no possible how they are not going to work together for the progress of the state. Now, with this kind of open anonymity being displayed now, what do you see when the new administration, that is when the new governor, sworn into office, and how is he going to find it? Because some people believe that with what the situation now, the good people of Ogun State is going to be of detriment, because it's like they will see to be the two actors will go in their own way. So we don't foresee.
Well, as I said earlier, His Excellency Ibrahim Dawodu is going to be leaving office to go to the Senate in a few weeks' time. Whether that mandate is still going to be honored, I don't know. Whether his suspension is going to lead to expulsion, I don't know what the status quo is. Only APC can decide that. But let's get one thing right. Dawodu is going to be the governor of Ogun State on the 29th of May, 2019. That's a fact. He's been duly elected as the governor of Ogun State, and nobody has actually challenged the authenticity of that result. So, which means, come 29th of May, 2019, Dawodu is going to be the governor of Ogun State. So, I think what he needs to do is focus on the work ahead. This man hasn't been distracted in any way, shape, or form. I've listened to most of his interviews. I've watched his conduct. He has been dignifying. He has not said anything bad against this man, even though a lot of people will always try to read meanings into body languages and the antecedents of this governor, as I said, and why he was hell-bent on making sure that Dawodu was not given the ticket to run under the platform of APC. So I don't know what transpired between these two men, and I don't know why there is so much animosity between them. But when God is for you, who can be against you? So Dapo Abiodun is the governor of Ogun State, even though he's not a member of my political party, but I still respect him. I still respect the mandate of the people. The good people of Ogun State have spoken, and he's been elected. So let's support this man unequivocally, and let us see how events are going to unfold in the next 4 years. So whether Ibikunle Amosun likes it or not, you know, his tenure as governor is coming to an end. So let the work of Dapo Abiodun, continuity-wise, let it begin on the 29th of May.
Thank you very much indeed. We wish the good people of Ogun State good luck in this political dispensation. Let's quickly look at a similar incident that has actually happened in Imo State before we now come back to the run of election. In Imo State, it is not something that is different. We all actually knew what has happened during the campaign in Imo State, and what actually happened again after the election. Basically, the Okorocha incumbent governor supporting another candidate while his party supported another. It's like the same thing, the same scenario play out. But our own friend, former Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, now governor-elect of the PDP. So Okorocha, according to INEC, it was stated that the INEC officers said they announced him as a winner under duress. So it's like that ticket has been withdrawn, and he hasn't been given a certificate of return. It's like his own fate now with his party. Nobody knows. Are you, as a political observer, what do you say to what has happened? Then what is the future before this inauguration?
You see, INEC, in extremely difficult circumstances, some states have been extremely difficult to handle more than others. Mm-hmm. In Imo State, elections were conducted in this state as well on the 9th of March, and a candidate was declared the winner. Now, for you now to say the results were actually announced under duress, I think it's abysmal. Any living soul on earth will find that actually preposterous. How can you come out, you know, an organization of that magnitude, you know, that so it is there's no justification in that. But what needs to be done before the 29th of May is to get a clearer perspective on who is going to be sworn in as the governor. And I think, if need be, if they need to settle the issue amicably through the court of law to declare who the bona fide winner is in that particular state, I think that is the next necessary line of action that should be taken. Because you cannot hold a whole state to ransom all in the lane of indiscipline and lack of cohesion.
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is that the governor, is the issue of the governor being elected as the Imo West.
Imo West, yes.
The senatorial district.
Oh, yes, I know
That's what that is all is at stake now.
Yeah, because he said he's not going to be sworn in on the 29th.
Because he hasn't been given.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the governor, I think the governor is going to be sworn in. The PDP, Emeka Ihedioha.
Well, by now, elections has been concluded, and the candidate with the highest number of votes needs to be given the certificate of return. It's as simple as that. If the legality of that election is questionable, then there needs to be ways in which that needs to be looked at, and that has to be looked at objectively in such a way that the good people of Imo State will have a clear indication of who is going to get the certificate of return, and that should be the candidate with the highest number of votes. The candidate with the highest number of votes, which is the PDP candidate, should be given the certificate of return, and he should be the one to be declared the governor and sworn in on the 29th of May.
Okay, let us look at this issue, because it's like we have been advocating that most of the problems or perhaps accusation being laid into the doorstep of the politician I strongly believe that I've said it a number of occasions on this program that it's like we Nigerians, it's like we haven't been actually addressed where the problems really lies.
Yeah.
Because it's like the teeming electorate, that is the Nigerian populace who are actually having have this power with their PVC. These are when the politician comes, either through campaign, perhaps saying what people wanted to hear, then people are actually, it seems that people are not voting with their own conscience, or perhaps to choose and know precisely who are among the candidates, who is actually the person they believe, that they should vote for. Because it's like when issue of, there's no any issue of, always there is an argument of election, rigging, acquisition of vote buying, still come to the people. I want you to look at the role of the people on most of all the states where there are problems regarding the election. I want you to look at it. Can we blame the people, or is the politician that one need to blame when it comes to this matter?
It has to be collective responsibility. You have to blame the people, and you have to blame the people who are meant to administer discipline in the first instance. And that starts with the organizing body, INEC, the security services, the police, and the people who are going to be voting as well. You know, you cannot just leave one out of the equation. Reason being is, when you have elections, it is the responsibility of the citizens, the responsibility of the people organizing the elections to make sure that there's enough security personnel on ground, i.e. the police, civil defense, and other, if possible, because the army, most especially in very, very difficult areas. And the reason why I mentioned the army is because the army, being a contingent organization, the army can be called upon in situations where there seems to be difficulties in administering what we call discipline, where we know areas that could be very volatile, areas that could, things can go horribly wrong, that the police will not be able to manage properly. So that's why the army, being a contingent organization, areas like this, if need be, they need to be present to make sure that elections are conducted in a free and fair manner. And just to answer your question again, the issue of who is actually to blame, yes, you have to look at the people who are voting. It is their responsibility to conduct themselves in a civilized manner. It is their duty to make sure that if they notice or experience anything which they know can undermine the exercise being carried out, it is their responsibilities to make sure that they inform the authorities, the police, civil defense, the army, and even the INEC officials. That is their responsibility.
But in some, sorry to cut you, but in some states there are acquisition that some security apparatus, some security officials actually play some role in, some bad role regarding the election in some states.
Yeah, it is possible, because in every organization there's always going to be good and bad. And in the event that people who are meant to manage the affairs of elections are being found to be indisciplined, then the honorable thing to do in these instances is to make sure that they face the wrath of the law. It is as simple as that. And that is why I've always said on numerous occasions that for you to have a society that is disciplined, that is steadfast, that is governable, you need an effective police force. So if we have some bad elements, if we have some undesirable elements, trying to frustrate the process of getting things done according to what the Constitution and according to what the law says, then these bad elements, we need to fish them out. Yes, they do exist, because in collaboration with bad politicians who would identify them as the weakest link, they would have given them money, they would have promised them so much that, listen, if our candidate wins, this is going to be in the pipeline. They're going to promise them. And unfortunately, the only language that we understand in Nigeria is money. So if you look at most of these people, how much do they earn in a month? So it takes the grace of God for people to understand that, look, they want to rise above those challenges. They want it will be difficult for anybody to use money to buy their conscience, most especially in a very sensitive position, a very sensitive job like that. But out of 100, you probably get about 15 or 20 of them who are always going to be the bad ones, that will always give the good ones a bad image. So it is expected, but when these kind of situations happen, how do we deal with them? It is how we deal with these issues that makes our country a country to be and a force to be reckoned with. That's the only thing that I can say about that.
Well, thank you very much. Look at this issue now. Let us look at it. I think most of this problem, especially election, when it comes to election in the states, there are we always be hearing a lot of allegation of bringing military men, the presence of the military men and the police, and it's hearing about some state governors will say that, okay, though according to constitution they are the security officer of the state, but when it comes to be able to direct the state commissioners, they said no. Most of the commissioners say, okay, they are taking directive straight from the Inspector General of Police, that is from Abuja. So this comes out to the issue of people saying that clamoring for the state police. What is your view when it comes to the issue of state police? I want you to look at it critically. Yeah, the benefit and the disadvantage.
The benefits is when you really look at the situation concerning policing in any state, the commissioner of police in that state is the most senior police officer in that state, and he is responsible not to the governor of that state but to the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police has the power to remove any commissioner of police in any of the 36 states at his peril. Now, if any governor now thinks that his authority is being undermined in that state, then it is your responsibility to raise those issues with the Inspector General of Police. Yes, you cannot raise those issues with the Commissioner of Police, because the Commissioner of Police is there to do a job without any fear or intimidation. So if a governor thinks there is lawlessness or there's some issues, the only thing you can do is invite the Commissioner of Police into your office and address those issues in a very subtle and diplomatic manner. But in the event that you think that those issues that you've raised with the Commissioner of Police are not being adhered to, then you have the only thing that governor has to do at that point in time is to raise the issue with the Inspector General of Police. Now, the Inspector General of Police will now get in touch with the Commissioner of Police in that state and raise those issues. If the explanation given are not good enough, the Inspector General of Police has the right and has the power to redeploy that Commissioner of Police in that state to another state.
Now, the issue of it, I'm talking about the benefit of it, because it's like, some people have been saying that, okay, let's look at what happened during the First Republic, the issue of wet air and those ones. So then there was the presence of a state police, and it was stated that the politician then really abused that chance by using them, by whereby the governor will give a directive to a commissioner, to a commissioner of police, or perhaps use the state police against their opponent, or perhaps against other party. For instance, in this, when it comes to election period, there are some certain candidates, when they enter to a state, they say some state radio, even on television, we refuse to be able to take advert of an opposition, because they believe that, okay, both the radio stations or the television stations, they take directive from the state governors. So it's possible, people believe that it's possible perhaps that the governor could influence the head of the state police to dance to his or her tone.
Well, in life, anything is possible. As I said earlier, you have to look at the code of conduct. And the code of conduct for the police applies to any other organization, which means diligence to duty and diligence to service. So in the event that a state governor is now trying to undermine the authority of a commissioner of police in that state, as I said, the commissioner of police is also a very, very powerful position. Let's get that clear. And the governor will also be seen as somebody who is the #1 citizen in that state. That is also quite understandable. But what we have to look at is the governor has a job to do, and so does the commissioner of police. The job of the commissioner of police in any state is to administer law and order, which means, if there's any issues relating to crime, any disturbances in any part of that state, it is his role to deploy members of the police in that state to that particular region to make sure that they instill discipline and maintain the status quo and maintain order. The job of the governor is to make sure that in the event that these things are not being done satisfactorily, he wants to know the reason why. But he cannot actually discipline a commissioner of police. You cannot remove a commissioner of police in your state. That is the duty of the Inspector General of Police, as I said earlier. So in the event that most things are going on which are probably unrest or that are still persistent or consistent, and it is causing a lot of unrest in the state, then the Inspector General of Police has to be informed ASAP. It is now his responsibility to make sure that he now gets in touch with the Commissioner of Police in that state to find out why those problems are still persistent. If the explanations given are not logical enough, if the explanations given are not reasonable enough, then it is the responsibility of the IG to remove that person with immediate effect and replace him so that they can begin to witness peace and law and order in that particular state. But two wrongs can never make a right. Yes, as we said earlier, there is always bound to be conflict of interest. Governors not getting along with the Commissioner of Police, but a Commissioner of Police is never going to be a stooge to the government of any state anyway, because he's an independent man. He is responsible to maintain peace, law and order in that state, as the most senior police officer in that state, and he is responsible directly to the Inspector General of Police, which is the most senior police officer in the land, in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, having said that, there must always be ways where we can strike a balance. You might not get on with the governor, you might not get on with the Commissioner of Police, but at the same time, just like I said a few minutes ago, the state is bigger than any individual. Whether you are the governor, whether you are the deputy governor, whether you are the Commissioner of Police, you have to be seen to be transparent and making sure that the things that you believe in to maintain order, discipline in that state, it remains paramount and your number one priority.
Thank you very much, Honorable Obanleowo. From the commercial section, my attention has been drawn, so we need to go on commercial break now. When we come back, please don't change that. Be with us, and we'll be right back.
My daughter-in-law, so how are you planning for my son's birthday? I have to cook up for her. Do you people have ogirisi there? No. It's okay. Okay, let me call you back. Mama Chiji, okay. Hi, so wait a market. Please pack some ogirisi. I am going to visit my son. My daughter-in-law. It's arranged. But you must use original red oil to prepare the soup. What? I'll call you back. Mama Chijo, please include Isio Morocco. My daughter-in-law. Everything is now set. But don't forget that gold wristwatch I saw the last time I visited.
Now you can talk until you tire for just 11 kobo of a second. Call all networks in Nigeria and 30 international destinations, including US, UK, China, Canada, and India for just 11 kobo per second. Dial *211# to activate.
That's it, boo-boo.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Tolu A. Akinyemi, a renowned poet, author, and performer, brings to us Dead Cats Don't Meow, a metrical masterpiece which invokes love and respect for life. Dead Cats Don't Meow is his first published work and third collection in his poetry for the Discerning series, after Dead Lions Don't Roar and Dead Dogs Don't Bark. Tolu shares his gift of writing with people far and wide. Recently, he received an endorsement as a writer with exceptional talent from the Arts Council England. Each poem examines a part of life, a sensation, a reaction, or an emotion. Individually, the verses breathe their own beat, while the collection knits together perfectly to present an idyllic anthology. Dead Cats Don't Meow is written to help you find your own voice in a world with a cacophony of voices. Join Tolu A. Akinyemi at one of the 4 events to celebrate the launch of Dead Cats Don't Meow. Thursday, April 4, 2019, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Poetry Cafe, the Poetry Society, 22 Betterton Street, Covent Garden, London. Saturday, April 13th, 2019, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Museum Center, Function Room, 8 and 9 Marina Road, Onikan, Lagos, Nigeria. Thursday, May 2, 2019, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Lead and Feel, 23 Westgate Road, Newcastle upon Tyne. Thursday, May 9, 2019, 5:45 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. The Avenue Library and Learning Center, 9 Victoria Avenue East, Blackley, Manchester. RSVP, tolutoludo.com. Dead Cats Don't Meow is available at Waterstones, Barnes & Noble, eBay, Amazon, Patabar, and other outlets.
Welcome back. Before we go on commercial break, we were actually looking at the issue of state police, which many people has actually been clamoring for. So people believe that the state police, if the federal government approve it and the states in Nigeria has police of their own, there are strong belief that it's possible for them to be using it against opposition, because in some states during the election, there are some states whereby even some of the state-controlled radio and television stations are not actually receiving all the advert of some opposition. And this issue has actually been long. So Honorable Obanleowo will make a clarification, but I haven't seen his own precise position. Either he support the state police or he did not support the state police. I would like to have your own brief answer to that. Then we now go straight to Osun State, okay, where the election of Governor Isiaka Oyetola has just been...
okay, right. Is it called Isiaka as well? Okay.
So Oyetola,
okay, let me just chip into the last part that you mentioned, which is each state having their own police. I think we should have a unified police federal police system. That way, it makes
all the states will be under
the Inspector General of Police, and that's the only way we can move forward. We need a strong police force. We need a country where the policing system will be more effective, will be more respectable, and that is the only way that our country, our nation, can move forward if we are to be seen as a serious nation that anybody wants to reckon with. The reason why this country has a very strong police force and people respect this country so much is because they have a very respectable police force. The moment you mention the police in this country, in Germany, Sweden, or some parts of Europe, you know that obviously trouble is actually going to be on the horizon. So I would strongly say one thing before we move on to the next part. Having a unified police system which is being administered from the federal level throughout the 36 states is the way forward for our country. All we just need to do is make sure that we improve the quality of life of these police officers, make sure that we give them a sense of belonging, we make them more purposeful, and we make sure that the issue and the uncertainty surrounding the police force in terms of corruption and all these small bribes on the roads, we try to eradicate it from the system completely. But I think a strong police force is needed desperately if our country is to move forward. So I'm in support of having a unified one police force in Nigeria.
Yeah. Let's come to Osun State. The tribunal actually had done the election that made Governor Seka Oyetola victorious, and although it's been challenged now at the Court of Appeal, it's not something that we can dwell in or perhaps give a victory. But I just want your own view regarding it, because we all knew what really happened. Initially the election, after the election, it was inconclusive.
Yes.
Then they have to do the rerun. You have to see some parties merging together and become victorious. So just brief because of the legal
ramifications.
Yeah. So just
I mean,
your own personal view.
I think the elections in the Osun states, immediately INEC declared the election in that state inconclusive after it became obvious that Senator Ademola Adeleke had the highest number of votes. They didn't actually go down well, because how can you all of a sudden declare elections as inconclusive when it was obvious that the PDP candidate had the highest number of votes?
But there are some issues in some local governments.
Well, I mean, so they said. But now let's move on. It went into a rerun, and after results were collated in those regions, they came with the conclusion that Governor Boyega Oyetola of APC actually won the election. That didn't actually go down well with PDP, my own party, and Senator Ademola Adeleke did the thing which he felt he needed to do, and went straight to the courts with evidences and with witnesses. In the court of law, which sat in Abuja a few days ago, the decision for INEC to declare Boyega Oyetola as the winner of that election was set aside, because what the judiciary was saying is INEC does not have that power to declare any election as inconclusive. So they looked at it objectively. They looked at the results, and they looked at how the rerun was conducted, and they came up with that logical conclusion that the results which brought Boyega Oyetola into office has to be set aside, and the winner of that election in Osun State is Senator Ademola Adeleke. The reason why they have not been able to give him a certificate of return is because of the fact that when an incumbent governor is being sacked or removed from office, he has 21 days to appeal. In the event that the individual, that particular governor, does not appeal within those 21 days, then the governor, the person that has been declared the winner, has the right, according to Section 143, to get the certificate of return. Now, Oyetola has now decided that he wants to appeal the case on the ground that out of the 3 judges, 2 of them favored Adeleke, while 1 actually favored him. So they're going to be looking at that and and begin to review the reasons why that particular judge actually favored him. And you have to understand that being a governor for a month or 2 now, obviously he's not going to go quietly. So he will want to explore all avenues possible to make sure that he holds on to office at all costs. So, but I believe in the rule of law, and I think the judges who made that decision on Friday, they've been very brave, and they came out with a logical and the only sensible conclusion to say, listen, INEC does not have the power to declare that result inconclusive because the PDP candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, had the highest number of votes. So, as such, he should have been declared the winner of that election held on the 9th of March 2019. Now, it's in the hands of the judiciary. It's going to the next phase, which is the appeal. So let's see how events are going to unfold, when it gets to the appeal stage. But I just hope that the whole process of this appeal, or if it has to go further, because I'm sure if he loses again, he might want to go to the Supreme Court. I don't know. But in order not to waste time, but because time is money, and at the end of the day, the good people of Osun State need to know where they stand. Is this man going to be removed from office? Are they going to be having a new governor? What I would just say is, in the interest of peace, Osun State, the good people of Osun State should just go about doing their business and leave everything in the hands of those who are going to administer justice and make sure that the right person that was voted for on the 9th of May, on the 9th of March, is being sworn in as the governor of that state. APC can try whatever they want to try. They are perfectly entitled to do that. So he has now decided to appeal. He has 21 days to do that. So let's let the appeal judges look at the merits of the case, and if they think that this man has a point to prove, then let them review the whole thing and see how the judgment is going to come out when the case goes to appeal. But right now, I think that PDP we stand a very good chance, and I am very optimistic, and I believe in the rule of law, and I strongly believe that after the whole wrangling regarding all the legal ramifications, our candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, is going to be sworn in as the next governor of Osun State.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's quickly go to Kano State, where this issue of from the presidential, campaign, both the leading parties there, and that is the APC and the PDP. We know on this program, some observers said we couldn't judge the large turn of people at the campaign, because when you judge, you can't use that yardstick to predict what is going to happen on the proper election day. When judging by the huge mammoth crowd that really comes out during that presidential election, we find it very difficult to say, okay, this is the area where the victory is going to be emerged. But after the election, President Muhammad Buhari emerged as a winner. So now coming to the state election, we all knew what really happened during the election, then coming to the rerun on the March 23rd. When you look at the gap, it's like virtually both candidates had more than 1 million.
More than 1 million, yes.
So what is your own opinion about that Kano? We still come to that stage.
You see, Kano actually surpassed my imagination. You see, because based on the way people actually voted during the presidential elections, I actually felt, PDP, my party, we lost woefully.
But their political awareness in Kano is extremely high.
Extremely high. That is why
there was no any recorded of any
problems or yes. But if you look at the votes Ganduje had, he had 1,033,967, I believe. The difference between the votes he had compared to our candidate, Abba Yusuf, was just under 9,000 votes. But this man came out few days after the election itself, on the 9th, and the the subsequent one that was held on the 23rd, to say what he personally witnessed was below the standards anybody would expect. You see, the only way he can prove his case now of any wrongdoing is to do it in a court of law. If he feels aggrieved, yes, it was a very close election. As I said, the results, Ganduje had 1,033,967. He had 1,022,000, just under 9,000 votes. So it was a very, very close election. So obviously, one is going to feel aggrieved if he believes that he did enough to win the elections. So now INEC has declared Ganduje as the governor, the APC candidate as the governor of that state. So if he thinks he wants to take the matter further, just like our candidate in Osun did, the best thing is to take the matter to the judiciary, whereby 3 judges will be able to look at the case, will be able to look at the merits, provide evidence of wrongdoing, provide evidence of what you think transpired during the elections,
but
and why you think
wrongdoing.
Well, I mean, if you and I think there wasn't any wrongdoing, why would this man come out on national TV to say these are the things that he personally experienced? So the only way those abnormalities can be corrected is going to a court of law. And if the court of law thinks he has a point, that yet it is true that he has a case against his people, against INEC and the candidate that was declared, then let the judiciary take it upon themselves to investigate and do the needful. Yes.
So that's the verdict of Kano State.
Yes.
I mean, during the rerun,
yeah.
Sokoto State, Kano and Sokoto were one of the states that people were actually been looking forward to, and it's like virtually everywhere in Nigeria, both home and Nigerians in diaspora are so much interested in following this election. We actually know what have happened in Sokoto, that
Tambuwa, yeah, has been returned as the governor. Yes.
So I want you to look, what is your own view regarding the election, the rerun, or your expectation? I want your personal view. Don't bring the issue of your party, your own view as a Nigerian.
As a Nigerian, in Sokoto State. Sokoto State, the people spoke. Tambuwa and the candidate that he defeated, the APC candidate, it was a very, very close election as well. He had 513,000. The guy had about, the margin was very, very, very close. That's why the fact that that election went into a rerun as well. But I just think that the people have spoken again. Yes, it was very close. And INEC declared Tambuwa, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, who has just served 4 years in office, as the person they want in Sokoto State to continue for the next 4 years. The people's mandate has to be respected. Elections were conducted there as well, even though it was very, very close. It doesn't matter the margin. He only had an edge with 340 votes to be precise, but it doesn't matter whether it's 10, 50, or 1 million votes or whatever. The number of registered candidates in Sokoto State was just under 1.9 million. The number of people who actually had their cards and who are actually able to vote was just under 1.1 million. So those people had the opportunity to express what they wanted, and that expression was declared with the results that was announced on the 23rd of March by the returning officer, Professor Abba, is it Mokhtar? I think she's a VC in that region at Good Say University. In extremely difficult circumstances as well. She did very well. She did the needful, and Governor Tambuwa has been declared as the winner in that region, and the people's mandate has to be respected. And there are no indications that the APC candidate wants to appeal, challenge it. So hopefully, I think that's a foregone conclusion. Tambuwa has been returned as the governor of Ogun State, of Sokoto State, and he's going to be the governor of that state for the next 4 years.
Now, looking at this issue, because it's like I have the opportunity of traveling to virtually all the states in Nigeria. And when you look at when it comes to political instability or perhaps issue of election in rigging of election for causing mayhem when it comes to election period. Look at, I want you to look at, northern part of the Nigeria with the huge, massive lands, then with enormous people, large number of people coming to both west and east and the south here. The problem of election rigging, the hoodlum, snatching of ballot boxes, one problem or the other is always been rampant in most of all the history of election in Nigeria, even coming to this present dispensation. I mentioned it earlier that Kano State, even Sokoto, with this large number of people in the northern part, we can see that there are peaceful, there are some kind of area where you cannot even say that, although if there's a recorded of some problems that were, looking at some state, what are the real cause of this political instability and the reporting of hoodlum and violence. What are the causes?
You see, it still boils down to what we've been saying in the past. When you don't have a disciplined and effective police system,
is it police or the people?
You cannot blame the people. In this country that we live in, when they want to have...
Is it not the same police we have both throughout the federation?
A police organization should be a police force that is fit for purpose, irrespective of where they are operating, whether in Nigeria, here, or any part of the world.
Any part of the state.
Yes. Now, to answer your question, my argument is this. When you give the police a free hand to operate without having their hands tied to their backs, then it gives them the opportunity to do their jobs without anybody having to resort to questioning their authority. Was it not last week that we had this program that I mentioned one viable point? As soon as a policeman is trying to do his or her job, trying to administer law and order, if that person has anybody at the corridors of power, the next person, they're getting in touch with the hierarchy and trying to undermine the authority of that officer. How do you think, does that happen here? It doesn't. If I do anything that is contrary to the rules and regulations in this country, I will have to pay the price. So if I leave the studio now and I do something which is immoral or illicit on the streets of London, what would you expect? Obviously, the police are going to be called. So who do I now call? Do I now call somebody who is in the position of authority here to come and act on my behalf? It doesn't work like that. But unfortunately, that has been a very common trend in Nigeria. It is always about who you know. And when you now begin to suppress the powers of the police, when you begin to suppress the powers given to them, by virtue of the fact that you know somebody at the corridors of power, it is that kind of mentality, that kind of ideology is completely wrong. That way you can never have an effective police system, because everybody will now begin to abuse their position. And when you begin to abuse your position, you can never ever have a system that is going to be. You can never ever have a system that is going to be free and fair. You begin to experience all these kind of abnormalities, and that is the problem. So we cannot actually begin to lay the blame solely at the feet of our people. During 1983 to 1985, when during the military regime of Buhari and Idi Agbon, a lot of people felt that Nigeria was so unruly. Didn't these people administer war against the discipline? You dare not cross the road without using a zebra crossing or the bridge. Most of the things that they were doing then, because they believe that if they have to maintain discipline, it has to start from the top. So all those people that people call to say, sir, I've just been arrested. Oh, give the phone to that officer. All that nonsense has to stop. It is wrong. morally it is wrong. It is not the best way to build a fair, just and tolerant society. If we want to build a fair, just and tolerant society, then we need to rise over all these immoral attitudes. Let the police, if we are serious about rebuilding Nigeria, repositioning Nigeria for greatness, the police force needs to be fit for 21st century.
Thank you very much.
That's the way forward.
Thank you very much, Honorable Obanleowo. It's like the time is actually not our friend, and I sincerely appreciate your time. It's like on this segment, this is where we are going to draw the curtain of your popular program, Broadview, this week. On behalf of everybody in the studio, all that made it possible for us to be on here. And once again, this is our 2nd year anniversary. We thank all our TV viewers and the companies and everybody who has actually been patronizing us, supporting us with advertisement. We are giving you our promise that we are going to intensify our effort to ensure that that promptness that you've been noted for, that we have been noted for, will continue it in this, as we are looking forward to celebrate our 3rd year anniversary. By the grace of God, we are giving you our assurance that you are going to be seeing series of innovation and good things to come. On behalf of everybody in the studio, I am Oladeji Dawodu. I sincerely appreciate your time spending with us on this segment. I say bye for now until next week, when we bring a new edition of our popular program, Your View to Your Door. Mr. Honorable, thank you. So bye-bye, everybody.
Tolu A. Akinyemi, a renowned poet, author, and performer, brings to us Dead Cats Don't Meow, a metrical masterpiece which invokes love and respect for life. Dead Cats Don't Meow is his 1st published work and 3rd collection in his poetry for the Discerning series, after Dead Lions Don't Roar and Dead Dogs Don't Bark. Tolu shares his gift of writing with people far and wide. Recently, he received an endorsement as a writer with exceptional talent from the Arts Council, England. Each poem examines a part of life, a sensation, a reaction, or an emotion. Individually, the verses breathe their own beat, while the collection knits together perfectly to present an idyllic anthology. Dead Cats Don't Meow is written to help you find your own voice in a world with a cacophony of voices. Join Tolu A. Akinyemi at one of the 4 events to celebrate the launch of Dead Cats Don't Meow. Thursday, April 4, 2019, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Poetry Cafe, the Poetry Society, 22 Betterton Street, Covent Garden, London. Saturday, April 13th, 2019, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Museum Center, Function Room, 8 and 9 Marina Road, Onikan, Lagos, Nigeria. Thursday, May 2, 2019, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Lead and Feel, 23 Westgate Road, Newcastle upon Tyne. Thursday, May 9, 2019, 5:45 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. The Avenue Library and Learning Center, 9 Victoria Avenue East, Blackley, Manchester. RSVP, tolutoludo.com. Dead Cats Don't Meow is available at Waterstones, Barnes & Noble, eBay, Amazon, Patabar, and other outlets.
My daughter-in-law, so how are you planning for my son's birthday? I have to cook up for her. Do you people have ogirisi there? No? It's okay. Okay, let me call you back. Mama Chiji, okay. Hi, sir, wait a market. Please pack some ogirisi. I am going to visit my son. My daughter-in-law, it's arranged. But you must use original red oil to prepare the soup. What? I'll call you back. Mama Chijo, please include Isio Morocco, my daughter-in-law. Everything is now set. But don't forget that gold wristwatch I saw the last time I visited her.
Now you can talk until you tire for just 11 kobo a second. Call all networks in Nigeria and 30 international destinations, including US, UK, China, Canada, and India for just 11 kobo per second. Dial *211# to activate.
That's it, Bobo.
The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.